So y'all have been blowing up my comments, wondering where the 7.0 comprehensive build video is. Here's what we're going to do this time. First, none of the class perks have changed since 6.0. So what you're going to do is go to this video for your class perks. Sure, I mean, yeah, I could make a new video saying exactly the same thing in a different fashion to farm y'all for clicks and ad revenue, but that feels gross, and I'm not going to do that. Second, for weapons, go take a look at that live stream where we went through every weapon in the game and talked about which specific perks and why, and to get the rationale of what I think would likely be your best bet. So, especially considering how new weapon choices are available for different classes, probably be easiest just to go there. I timestamped every single weapon, so have at. Also, some absolute mad lad decided to listen to the entire thing and then transcribe the recommendations down in the comments. So if you just want to read that, go for it. As for prestige, well, depending on which class you play, your options are kind of butts. But let's run through those here real quick. And between this and the other two videos, you can find absolutely anything you want, as well as the rationale behind it. Anyhow, let's start things off with the tactical. So, I think first and foremost, taking second look is a no-brainer, because the times when you whiff suck, and this fixes that. After that, I would say you have your choice of either acuity or skilled supplier. You know, if you're running around with a stalker, for instance, or you're really confident in your ability to counter recoil, go with acuity. The ammo economy is your primary boss in higher difficulty levels, so anything that increases your ammo reserve is nice. Now, for the last one, you've kind of got your choice of a few. Realistically, I would say spare power, resilience, or fortitude are all fine. Personally, I would gravitate towards either spare power or fortitude, with spare power edging out just a little bit in front of fortitude. Now, if you consistently can actually find Medicae, resilience could get some mileage, but I would much rather have either of the other two. All right, moving on to the assault. This one, well, at least they're consistent in that the perks for assault suck. Right off the hop here, duelist, because anything that makes your perfect parry and perfect block windows wider makes your life better. After that, though, So, let's see. I think cases could be made for fortitude, just having that extra wiggle room of HP, even though it's comparatively minor. I think adrenaline boost could be good, especially considering that you'll be down in the thick of things. And you get a little bit of nice synergy with duelist there. So let's say you go adrenaline rush or adrenaline boost and duelist, right? That leaves you two left. I would say probably scrambled targeting, just to lean into the benefits to damage reduction that we've already spec'd into with the assault. And then you could pick up commendation just for the emergency break. You know, you're not going to be picking up your teammates too terribly often, hopefully. But refilling your armor and giving you another jump pack charge is a nice GTFO button. Vanguard, my guy. So, I actually do have some comparatively competitive choices here. For me, and the way I play Vanguard, battlefield awareness is huge, because that stacks with the perk we already took to give us additional damage against the thing we just grappled to the face of. Exigency, that's a word I can say sometimes. Exigency. Sounds decent, but again, with Adrenaline Rush, you shouldn't be this low on health anyway, so hard pass. Indomitable Spirit could be good, depending upon how often you find yourself getting knocked out of gun strikes. It's kind of the exception as opposed to the rule when I play, so Not stoked about it. Fortitude. This is disproportionately important on the Vanguard versus any of the other classes that can take it. Because math. Adrenaline Rush heals based on your percentage of max HP. So, by taking Fortitude, you make every pop of the Capri Sun Tyranids into more HP than it would be if you didn't have it. Take it. Launch Restoration sounds nice. Regular Restoration could be good, yeah, especially if you're running around with the Melta in the swarms. Well equipped. Y'all have seen me play. You know I blow myself up with Melta bombs just as often as Tyranids. This isn't great for me, but I can see why some people would really like it. So, if we were going to pick 4 here, I would say Battlefield Awareness, Fortitude, Launch Restoration, and then you have your choice of Indomitable, Restoration, or Well-Equipped. But the 3 non-negotiables would be Battlefield Awareness, Fortitude, and Launch. Bulwark. So, before y'all take to the comments on this, I've checked the data mining. Overcharge works on a type of class of attack called Hold Attack. Charges and heavies both count as that type in the code. So, it says charged attack damage increases by 20%. However, it increases heavy attacks by 20% as well, at least until Saber fixes their spaghetti code. What this means is, this applies to Rake and Power Whirl. Yes, I've tested it. So, flat 20% damage buff? Yes, please. Take this. Auxiliary reload sounds nice, but Resilience, no, you have enough ways to regen health. So, looking at the 4 we could ostensibly take to fit with the build I've already posted. Overcharge, powerful shot, because you need to make your shots count for more. And, well, regardless of what pistol you're using, it could probably use the help. Masterful Defense and Standard Bearer. You could make the argument to take one over the other. Personally, if I was going to argue in favor of one over the other, I would say take Masterful Defense. Reason being, if you can be mindful of your usage of block, you're going to get a grip of ability charge when all of those tiny gaunts are showering you with flesh borers. That's worth a hell of a lot more than 2 seconds of invulnerable. More banners versus a 2-second window where you can't get hit. More banners. So this would give us 3. Overcharge, Powerful Shot, Masterful Defense. At this point, you can either pick up Standard Bearer anyway to get those 2 seconds of invulnerable, or you could go with Auxiliary Reload. Because, you are going to get Raveners, Lictors, etc. that you're going to be up in the thick of it with. You get an Execute, refill that Plasma Pistol. Have fun. Alrighty, Sniper. Oh, people are going to be mad about this one. Emperor's Grace sounds great on paper. If you're getting hit after you're cloaking, you're doing it wrong. So, if we were going to go with the 3 non-negotiables, I would say, I would go with the Versatile Precision, because extra ammo every time you kill something with your pistol, well, once every 15 seconds, that's really nice, especially considering how scant ammo is in Absolute. And there's always a heavy that runs around and takes everything. Then I would go with Versatility. This directly synergizes with Versatile Precision. So switch to your secondary, does 20% more damage. Pop some skulls, get 15% more of your primary ammo. It's nice. Indomitable Spirit, we've already kind of talked about. Like, if you find yourself getting knocked out of gun strikes frequently, take it. If not, skip it. Conviction sounds fine, but with the amount of damage that gets pumped out in Absolute anyway, 25% of a stupidly large number is still a stupidly large number. Exacting focus. After gun strike, you deal 20% more range damage for 10 seconds. So these are the three I would say are non-negotiable. So to recap, versatile precision, versatility, and exacting. Because that's going to pretty consistently either be feeding you extra ammo for your primary or giving you damage buffs to your secondary or even your primary or both, depending upon how the fight goes. And that leaves you one perk to do whatever you want with. You want to take the 2 seconds of invulnerable on Camo Cloak? Cool. You want to take boosted recharge? Cool. Weird, because you should be dipping in and out of camo anyway, which, you know, if you pair that with a proper build, you're going to be recharging it super fast anyway. So, kind of a waste. Heavy. Man, I really don't understand why they have melee prestige perks for heavy. Somebody at Saber must really like stomping. Anyhow, a lot of these we've kind of already talked about. The unique ones here are reverberating impact, exponential force, and restorative capacity. Now, these two melee ones, I personally don't really care about. So, if we were going to pick three, and again, leave you one choice of freedom here, I would say probably go Aux Reload, because, again, Raveners and Lictors are a thing. Duelist, just because the extra window for perfect parry and block is nice. Although you can't block. So enjoy a 25% wider bolter parry, I guess. After that, maybe Conviction, just for a little bit of extra tank. And then with the last point, you could take either Restorative Capacity or Indomitable Spirit. If you really wanted to lean into making Iron Halo utility instead of defensive, I would say take this, and then also the perk that causes your Iron Halo to give you a PB AoE around yourself. Probably work really well for clearing out the Death Acorns. So, there we go. There's your update. You have the class builds in another video already, and I'm not going to double tap y'all for the same content. We put together live a discussion of every weapon in the game, and again, that's linked down in the description. And we just ran through all the prestige perks. You got everything you need here. If/when there's meaningful improvements to the game, and well, maybe they can actually fix matchmaking and balance, then you'll see more content from me on this. Until then, this is kind of backburnered. So, I imagine people will disagree. That's fine. Have some hopefully civil discussion down in the comments with each other about why you think one might be better than the other. Outside of this, like I'm usually streaming 2-3 times a week at least. We are taking a look at other games that do still satisfy that like chunky combat itch, even though it might not seem like something that would be something that Space Marine players would enjoy. Maybe branch out. I know enough of y'all are salty at Saber about the directions the game are going. You don't have to keep playing a thing if you're not having fun. Anyhow, I've been Bald Squid. See you next time.